With the fantasy basketball season about to start in the 2018 season, you guys need to know who the late round sleeper picks are going to be. And this is the perfect video for that. Y'all ready to get into it? Let's just go right now. Boom! So I basically come up with a really short list of 5 players who are really going to be really important in the late round 10 to 13 round pick in your fantasy drafts. If you're playing in a very small league, aka 4 players, then this might not apply to you. But usually people who are playing competitive play in a big league of 14 to 12 players. And honestly, I believe these players are going to be very crucial to your late round picks. So how this video is going to work is I'm going to be naming players that are under the original rank of 150. So players above 150 will not be ranked in this. The reason why I'm saying this is because sleeper picks in the late round are usually the hardest ones to find, because all the players that are consistent have easily been taken in the 1 to 10 rounds. So I'm going to be giving you 1 point guard, 1 shooting guard, 1 small forward, 1 power forward, and 1 center to assist you in your late round teams. To be honest, I've done so much research on this, and according to Yahoo Sports and ESPN rankings, these were the best that I can find that I personally believe will be very crucial to your late round picks in your fantasy draft. So without further ado, let's just go straight to the topic and the rank. Number 1, the point guard. Point guards are really crucial to fantasy teams, and usually the best point guards are taken right away in fantasy drafts. To be honest, I personally recommend you have at least 3 strong point guards in your team, but you know what, if you weren't able to get them, don't worry, because this one player might be the point guard you're looking for at the end of the late round. This player is now part of the Chicago Bulls organization, and his name is Chris Dunn. According to their Yahoo Sports and original rankings, he's ranked 160 in the fantasy original ranking. Last year, being part of the Minnesota Timberwolves and being a rookie with Tom Thibodeau, Chris Dunn wasn't able to play as much with Ricky Rubio starting in the starting lineup. Even though he didn't play as much as he did with Minnesota Timberwolves, he was able to show what he can do in those little minutes that he got in Timberwolves. What we know of Dunn is that he's able to play really good defense, he's really athletic, but the only bad thing about him is his offensive consistency. But with the coach of the Chicago Bulls being Fred Hoiberg, an offensive tempo type of coach, Chris Dunn will and should be used in this new franchise. Trading away their star player Jimmy Butler and getting back Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn, that means that Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine are going to be a very important part in the future of the franchise. So I believe Chris Dunn will have a great year, better than last year, as a potential starting lineup point guard for the Chicago Bulls. With his defense and athleticism, I believe he will have averages of maybe 12 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and maybe 1 steal per game, and playing around 25 minutes under Fred Hoiberg. Number 2, the shooting guard, Jonathan Simmons, a part of the Orlando Magic. Jonathan Simmons, playing for the San Antonio Spurs last year, showed what he can do in the playoffs when players such as Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge, and other players got injured, as he stepped up in the role and showed what he can do against the Golden State Warriors. He now signed a 3-year, $20 million deal with Orlando Magic, and I believe that signing him for that much money means that Orlando do see potential in this Jonathan Simmons. Whether he starts over Terrence Ross or not, Jonathan Simmons will still have big minutes off the bench and be really crucial to the Orlando Magic's future. I believe he'll have averages of at least 11 points a game with 3 rebounds and 2 assists in this fantasy season. Be able to give you that little light score that you need maybe in the 13th round or 12th round of the fantasy draft when you are picking your 12th pick. Number 3, the small forward. The small forward that I'll be choosing for this is Rondae Hollis-Jefferson of the Brooklyn Nets. His original ranking, according to Yahoo Fantasy Sports, is 173rd. Last year, he was ranked over in the top 70 of the league because they believe that his potential in his second year is just limitless. But due to many small forwards on the team, due to many reasons of why he couldn't really show himself last year, he couldn't show up last year. But I believe that this is a year where he's going to turn it up. Having D'Angelo Russell there on the team now, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson is also young, and I think he's the same age as D'Angelo Russell, and wants to prove that he's also worth as to be a potential important player to their franchise. He can play the 2, 3, and the 4, has really good defense, he's really athletic, he's a great passer, but it's just, he hasn't been getting consistent minutes last year, and I know that this year for sure, he will be getting consistent minutes as a starter for the Brooklyn Nets. I believe he'll have averages of 13 points a game, 5 rebounds, maybe 3 assists, at least 1 steal, and around half a block a game. But you know what? At the end of the day, that's very crucial to the late round picks of fantasy drafts. Number 4, Adler Williams of the Phoenix Suns. If you guys do not know who Adler Williams is, Adler Williams was a rookie that was drafted by the Phoenix Suns in last year's draft. In my eyes, Adler Williams did not show who he really was and how he can really play until after the All-Star break. For those players out there who know about Adler Williams, he had double-doubles from night after night, consistently on night-over-night overtime basis. He had 15 and 10, 17 and 10, 17 and 12, 3 nights in a row, and you know what he shows? He can be a very important player, even as a power forward, and he's a little undersized, but he can get boards, he can score, and he can be a really important part to to the Phoenix Suns' future. His original ranking is really sad. I believe that he should be higher than this ranking. His ranking is currently 334, and you know what? That's way too low for Adler Williams for what he did, especially in fantasy drafts, especially those players who don't have a really strong big man or need that extra boost of rebounding near the end of the drafts. Adler Williams is the guy to look for in those fantasy drafts. The final player is a center position, and this player is a no-brainer. His name is Skal Labissiere of the Sacramento Kings. Skal Labissiere, I believe, is now the starting center of the Sacramento Kings ever since DeMarcus Cousins left. Even though Zach Randolph did join the team, I believe they're going to use Zach Randolph to train Skal Labissiere, as Labissiere is really athletic. He has potentials and a body type such as Rudy Gobert, and has that vertical jump as we've seen in last year's draft. Skal Labissiere's original rank is 197, and I think he'll end up in the top 100 by the end of the season. He'll probably have averages of at least 10 points a game and about 10 rebounds, but most importantly, he'll have 2 blocks, which I believe is the key to fantasy basketball. Thank you so much guys for watching that video. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, that was a really short list, because it's not easy looking for those key players in the late rounds of fantasy drafts. But you know what? If you guys have a key player who you think I missed, please let me know in the emails, in the comment section below, and please like this video because you guys love basketball. I'm gonna say it once again, loving the emails. Keep it up, keep it coming. I love to answer your questions. And honestly, answering emails is easy. Talking about basketball is easy, but most importantly, loving basketball is also easy. So without further ado, let's end the video with the mwah.
But I'm doing me like I'm posted, yeah.
So without further ado, let's just end off by saying that was easy. Boom.